Walking to work right now. But just wanted to say a couple things. I wanted to talk about knowing, understanding, words and actions. And how words, just because you know how to speak about things and talk about certain concepts and talk about lessons and word things and show that you know about things, spiritual things, mental things, psychological things, lessons in general, life lessons and how to move, it's not a mark of knowing. It's not a mark of knowing. It's not a mark of understanding. It doesn't show neither one of those things. It just shows words. It just shows that you know how to talk about certain topics. It doesn't mean you know. It doesn't mean you understand. You know? It's the same as like the body. Like, it's like the flesh. You know, we see, we hear the words, but on the inside, there's nothing solid. So, the only way that, you know, you show knowing and understanding is not by words. You don't need to speak. It's by your actions. It's by your actions, the embodiment of the knowing, of the knowledge, changed behavior, you know, change the responses to your environment, to the people around you. That's the mark of knowing. That's the mark of understanding. It's not words. You know, because you can think about or see something in your mind and your mind is able to conceptualize certain things and you're able to put it in words. You know? Certain things you haven't even been through sometimes. You know how to put certain things into words, but your mind is able to conceptualize them, you know, for you to put words to it. But the mark of knowing is not because someone knows how to talk about something or they know how to speak about a lesson that they've been through or whatever the heck, you know? Because you could go through a lesson, you could learn the lesson, but you still don't understand because you're not embodying, your actions are still the same, you still act. Because when it's time to act, when it's time to respond to something, you respond in the same way that you've done before. Or you respond in a way that's the opposite of the lessons you speak about, you know? So, less words, you know, less words. More practice, more embodying. It doesn't matter how you look and how you want to show up to other people and all that kind of stuff because you want to show, you know, because you want to talk and talk and talk, you know. It doesn't show you know, it just shows that you know how to talk about it. But if you close your mouth and you do more listening, I said this before, that one of the issues I see with humans is that we don't listen. We don't do a good job of listening. We just do a lot of talking. Because we want to, you know, show up a certain way and look a certain way coping, even avoiding our problems, avoiding ourselves. We use talking for a lot of stuff, man. We need to do more listening to our bodies, listening to our intuition, listening to others, listen to the birds. Listen, just listen. Listen. There's real-time changes when you sit down and you choose not to speak, when you feel that the urge that your body wants to speak, or your mind wants to speak, not your body, your mind. Because your mind is always running. It's always running. There's a never-ending stream of thoughts, never-ending stream of energy flowing through there all the time. So we have to be conscious about how we move in our day-to-day. Because you can speak. There's nothing wrong with speaking, but where are you speaking from? Are you speaking from your ego? Are you speaking to impress? Are you speaking because you're coping? Are you speaking because you're running away from something? Running away from yourself, your own problems, avoiding things? Procrastinating. And then whenever we speak, it's more meaningful, it's more deep. Because when we speak, we're coming from a conscious place, an honest place. We're choosing to speak. We're not pleasing the rambling of the mind, to satisfy ourselves, So the mark of knowing and understanding is in actions. It's an embodiment. Change behavior, change responses to your environment, to people. Because what do we do when we feel like the world is attacking us, people are attacking us? Right? And then we go attack back and say that I have these problems because this one is doing this to me and the world is on my back and blah, 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 blah. What you're saying is that your environment and the people around you hold the keys and the power to your world. They hold the keys and the power to your decisions. They hold the keys and the power to your actions and how you respond. They hold the key and the power to your emotions. And that's far from the truth. And that brings you back into these battles. We're choosing to be in battles. We're choosing to attack back, and we're choosing to cause more problems and just become more convoluted in our own worlds. Especially if you already have issues you're dealing with. Why create more issues by joining turmoil, or feeding more turmoil, or making quick decisions and having, allowing your reactions to take over, being conscious and being able to slow things down for yourself and choose every time to stay as centered as you can and do what's right for yourself, and sit down and plan, sit down and recenter so that you can make the proper decisions for yourself, so that you can keep going in the right directions, so you don't let nothing deter you from your goals and your path, you know? So that's all I wanted to talk about. Just want everybody to know that the strength and the power in your everyday life within yourself is always yours. It's always yours. It doesn't belong to no one else. It never did. You know, it never was theirs. And it's about you choosing every day, even just a little bit, to get up and make the conscious decisions to walk towards your goals. Walk towards the things that make you better, stronger, so that you can see for yourself that it is in you and it doesn't belong to the environment. It doesn't belong to the people around me. It belongs to me. Choose to respond to people in a conscious manner. Not because you want to avoid conflict, you know, but because you prioritize your center, you prioritize yourself, you prioritize your peace, you prioritize your power, you prioritize your goals. You prioritize love, you know? That's why you make the conscious decisions to treat people a certain way. Having a heavy mind about someone, don't give people control over your mind space, your emotional space, by holding them inside of you heavily, you know? The thought and the sight of someone shouldn't move you. Don't let it move you. And we do that by keeping our thoughts light, by keeping our ideas and beliefs light about certain things and certain people. Change the way that you see things. Change the way that you see your environment, the way you see people, you know, so that you can stay light within yourself. And I would also like to say it's easier said than done. And that's why words are not the mark of knowing and understanding. Because we can talk and talk and talk. We can talk and talk and talk, but it really doesn't mean anything. Because we can see it. We can feel it. That's all I want to talk about. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm almost to work. I just wanted to speak on that. So, peace, love, and blessings to every one of you. Man, I look tired, man. Everyone have a good morning. If you eat breakfast, have a great breakfast. Give thanks and praises. And have a good day.